Hi YouTube. The reason why I'm doing this video to actually talk about some of the attacks that are actually taking place amongst us constantly with demonic possession and everything, and how to counterattack some of this stuff. Remember, if we're living by the word of God, certain attacks should not affect us. There are certain things that are affecting us because we are allowing our emotions to get involved. We are allowing certain things to have its play. Of course, we don't want to see anybody hurt. Of course, we don't want to see anybody go through any problems or devastation or whatever. But I cannot offer my life for your life. That's something that I cannot compromise, because I know in my victory you will somehow receive victory. So I cannot compromise my victory saying, okay, well, I'm going to offer myself up to something that's unclean because you're not where you need to be. Or I'm going to offer myself up because I know that I can fight certain things off and become subservient to certain things that are not of God. I can't do it. So we have to really be careful, because a lot of times these things are going to come after family, friends, people that we love, things that we love, things that mean something to us, and basically ask us if we want these things to survive, that we have to be willing to offer up ourselves for that very thing. And we have to be strong enough to know that in our preservation, we preserve our own people. We cannot see all that takes place, but with us just doing the will of God and what God has called for us to do, we make it better for them in a way. We know that at some point that they will receive a victory. At some point they will see happiness. At some point they will be released from the bondage that they have if we stay the course and we do what God has called for us to do. This is a part of what it takes to actually free our people, just being in the proper order and the proper calling of things. I remember biblically, and this is in the Old Testament, this is before the devastation, before the possession, before a lot of things. And possession was going on at that time, but I really know that God did not know how to name it. What people would be greatly delivered and then have an issue with God? No people actually have that issue. I believe that a lot of the people was actually betrayed by being a possession of something that was unclean and unpure, and caused them to fall into sin. But we have to sit up here and we have to maintain the course and maintain the calling and maintain what God has called for us to do, despite the weeds that are planted in our life, despite the situations that are going on. We also know that we'll have to deny certain things. Blessed is the person that loses a son, a daughter, a mother, a father, or a family member. And it's going to be times that you're not going to really understand this testament, but I have seen it in so many different layers and dimensions in my life till it's ridiculous. I have lost so much, in so many different things, and I know that it can be restored back to me in multiple ways. But to have lost that type of stuff, and then for a person to say, oh, if you want it back, this is what you can do to get it back, and what the person is asking me to do is against the will of God. So therefore I cannot obtain it, nor can I sit up there and entertain certain behaviors, because knowing that even if you entertain that behavior, once you take that fall and give in to Satan, Satan's going to ask for a whole bunch of stuff. Like I'm telling you, stuff that you're not going to want to do. So I can tell you now, don't even move in that direction and say, okay, well, I'm going to give myself up. I'm going to do this, and maybe I'll find freedom in this, or maybe I'll find freedom in that, or this is where I can be there for a family member, or this is the way that I can be there for that person. Actually, to be totally honest with you, none of it actually saves us. We just go into warfare, and we go into warfare hard, and we have to remember to just be people of God, to try to do right by the word of God, so that God can cover us. because I started to realize that these promises that was made to Joshua is the same promises that are made to us nowadays. At this present moment, these are the same promises of God. If he made it to Joshua, what made you think that he wouldn't make those same promises to you and to the people of God? It's the same covering. It's the same covenant and stuff like that. So this is obtainable, and that's still in place. If you're doing the will of God and you're holding to the word of God and stuff like that, nothing can defeat you. The odds can't defeat you. The things that try to compel you cannot compel you, because God is in control. It begins to lose its strength. It begins to lose its power and stuff like that. And I remember that was told to us back in the days, resist the devil and he shall flee. Nowadays, the devil don't flee anymore when you resist the devil. You can resist the devil, and the devil want to stand strong because he feels like, okay, well, look, you're going to fall to me one way or another. And when you start standing toe-to-toe with that devil and you let him know that pretty much it's not going to happen, you're going to stay in your place. I'm going to be a person of God. I'm going to stand for God. And I'm going to do what God told me to do, no matter how much you try to black me out, no matter how much you try to erase memories, no matter how much you try to throw me in a state of dementia, illness, mental sickness, physical sickness, all kinds of stuff that you try to do. It's not going to work. I am a woman of God. And the reason why I say this so much is because I have wrestled against so many different things. I have been raped, and basically these people tried to baker at me because I was being raped. I have been falsely accused of so many different things, and I had to realize that all these things that the devil wanted to accuse me of, and all these things that these evil, manipulative, nasty people want to accuse me of, I wasn't innocent. I wasn't guilty at all. I hadn't done anything wrong. But they wanted to take that from me. My innocence, my prettiness, the way I carried myself, the way I was, and stuff like that. Please excuse the video of some things going on with this video, but at the same time, I still serve God, and I'm going to serve him regardless. But I know these people was guilty for what they did to me. I know that they don't want to face up to it, but at some point, the same thing that you did to me, you will have to reap the harvest of. And harvests come in plenty. Anyway, you guys, I wish you guys the best of luck against demonic possession, against them, against all this stuff that's going on. And I pray for your advancement. I pray for your growth, people of God, and just stand strong.